This One Piece chapter took everything pretty much that has happened and every character that you might have felt was irrelevant or you might have not felt that important, you just felt like, oh, what is this character doing from this arc, and made all of it relevant and then some. I thought that this chapter of One Piece was brilliant in that aspect, that it made things from the tournament, mostly the tournament, just completely a lot more like, when you look back at this material, it's more valuable, and just overall, it did some very good things with tying things in, and I really liked how that was done. I mean, now watching the anime, because of course the anime is behind the manga and whatnot, it's going to be a real treat to know that, okay, Blue Gilly is actually, of value. Later on, he's going to do something. All of these characters, like, there was, of course, characters that I enjoyed regardless. Don Chin Zhao, I thought was pretty fucking epic. Cavendish, he was built up. Even though he was, pompous jerk, nonetheless, he was an interesting character. But what this chapter did, having all of them round up, and each of them have their own set of reasons why they're doing this and why they're going to help Luffy. And it's within a comedic reason as well, like that Luffy is fighting back. Like, no, you're not going to take Doflamingo, but just the way this chapter was handled, it really made so many things within that Coliseum, that Dressrosa Coliseum, like, oh, Oda built them all up and gave you all of these small relationships within the tournament, and then it finally fucking paid off, and it's like, I give a fuck about Blue Gilly slightly now. Like, before, a lot of these characters were just like, oh, this is fodder, what are you doing, Oda? But Oda had a reason. Oda did a fucking good job with tying in a lot of this shit again, and it was just like, don't doubt the man, Oda. I found it hilarious that even Zoro, a serious dude like Zoro, couldn't help but laugh at Pica's voice. The anime better do a great job of that. I want to hear, like, Nani? I really want to hear something funny, because, like, if Zoro, the pirate hunter, the motherfucker that doesn't laugh too much, is giggling and he can't help it, that voice is funny. And it just was like like a Colossus Titan chaos, just him raining the pain with one of his fists in the beginning of the chapter, and it's just like, it's maddening. And for the most part, that's what this chapter really did. It was basically, Pica is the ultimate threat at this particular point, at the moment anyway, of course, Doflamingo was tucked away, but that is their main threat that they're facing right now. And just everyone started, coming together. Like, first of all, you have Cavendish, and I like that Usopp's, still not completely, they didn't completely abandon him. There's still a lot of people that cared and appreciate what he did. There's scum, and I kind of feel a little bit bad about what I said a couple weeks ago, where I was just like, oh, it just ruined everything or whatever. It's still, the people that matter are what are holding their debt and really respecting God Usopp. Like, I'm guessing that the new wanted poster is going to say God Usopp instead of Usopp, which, I'll take it. I mean, I'd rather be called God forever than just forever, right? So, definitely you can see that the effects of everything that happened is still in place with people that matter at the very least, because you see, like, they're like, oh, you swine, you were in the toy factory with us, to those people that are trying to get their heads. So I like that that's still in place, and overall still giving Usopp some value. And I just like seeing Luffy's reaction, like, oh, it's good to hear some of my friends getting praised for once. So I really like that. I thought that was a nice scene, and just, it really, with this chapter, connected everything that has happened in Dressrosa and made, like, allies that you would have never thought. It made people just work together like a piece of fucking shit, like Dogma, bending the rules and everything. Even he's working together. You have Blue Gilly, Hideo, Don Chin Zhao, the Hoppo Navy. Like, everybody is just working together, and you still have the aspects of, like, Luffy's like, I'm taking his Doflamingo's head, and they all want to take his head. So you still have that in place to make it more realistic as to how Luffy would react to this situation. But nonetheless, you have a crazy allied force right there to fight this giant fucking Colossus Pica. Attack on Dressrosa, anyone? No. And I also like how a lot of the grudges that were held against the Straw Hats kind of subsided with this arc. So, like, some of the things that, like, started off have eventually changed, or the situation is different. Like, Cavendish is like, oh no, even though I don't want you getting more popularity than me, so he's still keeping his character intact. He's like, yeah, I don't have a grudge against you guys anymore, mainly because of God Usopp. But he's still kind of keeping it intact, like, oh lord, I'll kill you. Here's your hat, because he want to behead him. So still keeping character intact, but nonetheless, a lot of things has progressed in the sense of, like, characters' motives or grudges that they had. Going to change. I was like, oh no, don't worry, Straw Hat, my grudge against your family is done. So we got a lot of progression within this arc. And aside from that, it was just a really simple chapter in that aspect, because it was just mainly like everyone gathering together to fight Pica. That final panel looked beautiful, with everyone working together. But that was, for the most part, the extent of the chapter. Everyone just rallying up. Like, you even got the bull that Luffy befriended during the tournament. Now Luffy is riding on it again, and everyone's charging at Pica, and they're all going for Doflamingo. So it was just overall a nice chapter. I guess the best word to describe it is camaraderie, with everyone just working together, banding together, and working with Luffy. And this is one thing that's different that, for the most part, I never really see, is that, you know, in One Piece for that matter, one of Luffy's crew, for the first time, is one of the big reasons why people are helping. Usually it's always like, oh, Luffy helped me here, Luffy helped me there. But this time, Usopp shit helped out in a big way, to the point where a lot of people are like, I'm working with you, bro. Like, your man helped me out, so I'm gonna help you out. That was some interesting, you know, twist to One Piece, because normally it's just Luffy, but this time it was a smaller player, and he did a big thing. But ultimately, not the most biggest chapter or anything like that. It was just mainly taking a lot of things from this arc and wrapping it all together, which was really nicely done. I really appreciate that. And overall, it was just a damn good chapter. I can look back now and say, okay, I might have felt that way then, but I feel differently now. And that's the good thing about reading manga weekly, you know. If you read this all in one dash, you would have never really had these different changes and emotions and feelings. But as you're reading weekly, you know, you look back and it's like, well, I felt this way, but I've changed my mind. And, you know, that just gives you a different perspective on how to look at things with the manga. And overall, it's a different experience. But let me know what you guys think, first of all. Who do you think is going to be the best player in helping out Luffy? And what do you think about God Usopp really just being a key player to all of this and uniting everyone, with one of Luffy's people doing something for a change, you know, to make everyone follow Luffy? Just your overall thoughts of the chapter. I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. Good chapter. Definitely had some progression towards the Pica situation, but that was really the extent of it, and just kind of wrapping things around and bringing back everything that was relevant in this arc, or felt irrelevant, and making it relevant. So that was good stuff. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say, or you enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm World, and as always, people, have an awesome day.